Inside the Saudi 9/11 cover-up. Paul Sperry, writing in the New York Post, a newspaper owned by Rupert Murdoch. Front page story. President Bush inexplicably censored 28 pages of this 800-page report on 9/11. Keep in mind, 15 out of the 19 hijackers were Saudi nationals. And Walter Jones and Stephen Lynch, members of Congress, one a Republican, the other Democrat. Walter Jones, Republican of North Carolina, Stephen Lynch, Democrat of Massachusetts, members of the House of Representatives, say that they have read the 28 pages that were kept out by the Bush administration, that nobody could read. And they can't say what's in it, but they were shocked. And they have proposed that Congress pass a resolution asking the president to release these documents. But the New York Post says some information is already leaked. And now we're talking about who funded and facilitated 9/11. And they say, and the information that is leaked points back to Saudi Arabia. The Saudis deny any role in 9/11, but the CIA in one memo reportedly found, quote, incontrovertible evidence, end quote, I'm reading from the Washington Post or the New York Post piece, that Saudi government officials, not just wealthy Saudi hardliners, but high-level diplomats and intelligence officers employed by the kingdom, helped the hijackers both financially and logistically. Now, if this is true, that means that 9/11 was not an act of terrorism, it was an act of war. That Saudi Arabia declared war on the United States if they funded 9/11 and helped make it happen. And then they go through the actual examples. Saudi consulate official Fahad al-Thumairi allegedly arranged for an advance team to receive two of the Saudi hijackers as they arrived at LAX in 2000. Bayoumi and another suspected Saudi agent, Osama Bassan, set up essentially forward operating bases in San Diego for the hijackers after leaving LA. In Washington, then Saudi Ambassador Prince Bandar and his wife sent checks totaling some $130,000 to Bassan while he was handling the hijackers. This is Bandar Bush. This is the guy who spent so much time with George Bush that they started calling him Bandar Bush, Prince Bandar. And around the time that this investigation came out, Bandar all of a sudden went back to Saudi Arabia, apparently. One investigator said, our investigations contributed to the ambassador's departure, although Bandar Bush says he left for personal reasons. In Falls Church in 2001, al-Awlaki and the San Diego hijackers turned up together again, this time at the Dar al-Hajira Islamic Center, a Pentagon area mosque built with funds from the Saudi embassy. Al-Awlaki fled the United States on a Saudi jet. The Saudi-sponsored cleric was briefly detained at JFK before being released in the custody of a Saudi representative in Herndon, Virginia, in Sarasota, Florida. I mean, they just have this whole long list. And you read it and you go, holy cow, it looks like Saudi Arabia actually, or at least government officials with the Saudi government may have played some role in 9/11. And if so, and Bob Graham, by the way, the former Republican senator from Florida, was interviewed about this by The Real News, by Paul, what's Paul's last name? Anybody remember? Anyway, Paul, the Real News guy. And he just basically came right out and said, you know, this is pretty shocking stuff, and you guys need to look into this because it involves Saudi Arabia.